This is WCBD-TV, Charleston. Now, from the heart of the South Carolina Lowcountry, this is TV2 Eyewitness News. Live at 6.
Good evening. Dave Stanley is off tonight. I'm Jill Franco. Wheelchair athlete Manny Marshall will be spending the rest of her life in a Florida jail. Eyewitness News has learned Marshall just moments ago pled guilty of murder. The murders of 2-year-old Kathleen Ricks and 6-month-old Joshua Skinner back in 1981. In open court, Marshall confessed to both murders and an attempt on the life of still a third child, 6-month-old Richard Hanna. Marshall will now be sentenced on Wednesday. The state will now seek life in prison for the first-degree murder of Ricks and 30 years in prison for the Skinner child. She spoke quietly as she confessed to all 3 cases in Escambia Circuit Court earlier today. A 3-month battle over what to do with several thousand tons of Philadelphia garbage is over tonight. At this hour, the garbage is being dumped at a Dorchester County landfill. TV2's Dave Christopher spent the day with the Department of Health and Environmental Control agents who are supervising the dump. And he joins us now from our newsroom. Dave?
Well, Jill, the results of the latest chemical analysis prove once and for all that the Philadelphia garbage contains no hazardous chemicals. And the incinerated garbage will now be brought to its final dumping place for final burial. And legislative action trying to halt the process. The cleanup of Philadelphia garbage began at sunrise this morning. After the 3rd test of material determined there were no hazardous chemicals, just incinerated garbage.
It's burnt garbage, but there is some other waste in it that's burnt that is not garbage. It's very evident. You can see pieces of angle iron and piping and all. But all the chemical analysis come back show it not to be a hazardous waste.
In all, 3 barges contain just over 3,000 tons of waste from Philadelphia. DHAC is carefully monitoring the project just as a precaution to make sure none of the ash falls onto South Carolina soil.
We're looking to see that the load is completely covered. There's no spillage into the river. We got protection between the wharf and the river. The load has canvases on it going across the road. Also, that we don't want any of the sludge that's in the bottom of the barge from the rains that have been coming in go into the landfill.
DHAC officials tonight still haven't decided what they will do with still another barge of ash which arrived from Philadelphia after the first shipment. But experts say the same test will probably be run all over again before the story of the garbage with no place to call home is finally over. Now, DHAC officials say that the project should be completed by Sunday night at the absolute latest. Jill, back to you.
Right, thanks, Dave.
Sure.
Well, a hazardous chemical spill in North Charleston caused a few tense moments for firefighters today. Firemen were called around 10:30 this morning when employees at the Roadway Package Company noticed chemicals leaking out of a 7-gallon container of an acid-based substance. The chemicals were highly corrosive, and the hazardous waste team was called in to neutralize the substance. EMS treated 1 employee for exposure to the chemicals, but no one was seriously injured. Another potentially dangerous situation, this one for area farmers, has been averted. Agriculture officials tell Eyewitness News they expect all the snails they are fumigating to be dead by Monday. The snails were discovered earlier this week on board military cargo from the Mediterranean during a routine check at the port. The snails are a problem in the Mediterranean area because they multiply into large amounts and can destroy leaves on garden crops. 25 years ago, snails infested the Air Force Base, but officials eliminated them before they could affect low-country crops. The state Democratic Party would like nothing more than to eliminate a runoff primary for governor, but it may be as long as next Monday before candidates Hugh Leatherman and Frank Epps decide whether they'll pull out of the race altogether and avoid a Democratic runoff. Phil later says he will not actively campaign against Mike Daniel in that scheduled runoff election. Well, South Carolina House candidate Robert Ford is apologizing to voters today for statements that he made the night of the primary elections. Ford says he unwisely shared personal feelings that he should have kept to himself, and he blames his impromptu actions on stress from the campaign.
There was a lot of frustration involved with the election, and it looked like everybody abandoned me and treated me like I had plague or something, and it was just hard to deal with.
The Charleston City Councilman is a candidate for House District Seat 110. He won the Democratic nomination over opponent Herbert S. Fielding. Well, 2 Lowcountry mayors are out of the country today attending the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Joe Riley and John Bourne are in San Juan, Puerto Rico this weekend. Riley is the new president of the conference. Some of the topics to be discussed are the prevention of terrorism, the diversity of approaches to waterfront development, and the importance of art to urban economic development. When Eyewitness News returns on this Friday night, we'll talk about what summer brings to the beaches, one thing that is quite dangerous. And we'll talk about a killer storm that affects the East Coast this time of year. Stay with us.
Your Carolina Ford dealer's red carpet lease plan through Ford Motor Credit Company makes sense for a lot of reasons. First, you pay only for what you use, not the full price of the vehicle. Second, there's no used vehicle to dispose of at lease in. Third, leasing frees your cash and bank line of credit for other purposes. And fourth, when leasing for business purposes, tax records are simplified, and great cars like Escort and Taurus, plus trucks like Ranger, are available on a red carpet lease through Ford Credit for qualified leases. See your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Gee, life's tough. I just got here and it's Father's Day already.
Take it from an old-timer, kid. Just look for Kerrison's Father's Day sale insert in Wednesday's Post Courier.
Tell me more.
Save 25% on London Fog sport coats, all Alexander Julian clothes, Farrah slacks, Freeman shoes, Flying Scotsman sportswear, plus up to 1/3 off some things for us girls. Relax, kid. It's all in Kerrison's Father's Day sale insert in Wednesday's Post Courier.
What a relief.
Louis Rich breast of turkey. So lean, so light. Slice it for tonight.
Wow, turkey.
For tomorrow.
Wow, turkey.
Anytime. Carved and cooked whole from the bird. Its natural shape says it's juicy and delicious. Louis Rich makes turkey so easy, so tonight.
Turkey.
So luscious. So light. It took Louis Rich to make turkey so right.
Making good things happen, making dreams come true. First Federal of Charleston can do it all for you.
He may not be the biggest, fastest kid on the team, but he's all heart. That's why you rely on First Federal of Charleston, so that in the years ahead, you'll be able to make good things happen for him in everything he does.
First Federal of Charleston is making good things happen for you.
This just in to update our story on the Democratic gubernatorial runoff election. State Senator Hugh Leatherman is saying tonight that he will not force a Democratic runoff for governor. The other candidates for governor have said they do not want to challenge Lieutenant Governor Mike Daniel for the Democratic nomination. Well, Berkeley County Sheriff M.C. Cannon is reported to be in stable condition at this hour at Trident Regional Medical Center. The sheriff was hospitalized yesterday for emergency gallbladder surgery. A department spokesperson says there were complications. The sheriff should be back at work in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, our best wishes for Sheriff Cannon. Well, it won't put you in the hospital, but stings from jellyfish can be painful. This time of year, these sea creatures can take the pleasure out of your trips to the beach. Eyewitness News reporter Jean Hill explores the truths and myths about jellyfish.
The beaches are full this time of year with sun-loving fun seekers who in most cases don't give jellyfish much thought. Although most species of jellyfish found in South Carolina are harmless to humans, a few are capable of inflicting a sting, and one particular kind is highly venomous.
Whenever the water is real hot, that's a good time for jellyfish to come out. And one point last year we had jellyfish stings. I think everybody on the beach had jellyfish sting that day.
Curiosity is easily raised by the appearance of the jellyfish. It's a docile-looking creature, but beware. It may surprise you. Jellyfish are most commonly found in large schools, and out of every 100 or so, there are usually 1 or 2 that can sting. This usually causes only a minor skin irritation, which can be treated with common creams or ointments.
We make a combination of rubbing alcohol, baking soda, and meat tenderizer, and we rub it on the sting and around the sting. It takes out the sting, and it also, the pain just goes away.
Experts advise that if you are not familiar with the different species of jellyfish, stay away from them. There is a monster among the harmless ones. The Portuguese man-of-war is highly venomous, and bathers should not go into the water if they are present. Prevention of jellyfish stings is always the best cure. It's best to simply avoid contact with any kind of jellyfish. Jean Hill, TV2, Eyewitness News.
Unfortunately, summertime also brings with it a real threat of injury and possible death. What are we talking about? Of course, hurricanes.
You
Right.
got it. And they can be some of the most devastating. In fact, we just went through Andrew, which was still a tropical storm, but it had the potential to become a hurricane. But in the event of a hurricane, television and radio stations, as well as the print media, are avenues through which the National Weather Service, Miami's Hurricane Center, and Disaster Preparedness relay their vital weather information. Well, today, all of those services gathered for a hurricane media workshop to better educate us, to better inform you in the event of such a disaster. Dr. Neil Frank was on hand to share his thoughts, and I asked him, considering the lack of rainfall in the low country, could we actually benefit from a hurricane?
We've had a terrible condition of rain over the southeast over the last several weeks. We need to have those kind of tropical storms sometime. Now, if we hadn't developed the coastline to where we have all the devastation, then we wouldn't have a problem. You know, the storms could come, give us the rains, then the crops could grow, and we'd be okay. But we've exposed ourselves down on the coastline, and so it makes it a big dilemma now.
On another good note, Dr. Neil Frank said that South Carolina has greatly improved their evacuation plan. So that's another good thing.
That is good news.
We've made great strides in trying to get those people out from the barrier islands and places like Folly Beach and Hilton Head and pull them in to safer ground.
Good. Yep. All right, thanks, Lisa.
Sure.
And she'll be right back with the weather when we return.
You're looking good, America, and you deserve the best. Visa, America's Freedom Fabric by Milliken.
I feel so excited about the Visa family of fabrics by Milliken. With Visa, stains wash right out. Visa needs virtually no ironing, keeps you cool even in the hottest weather. Washes free of odors, whites stay white, and colors just pop right out at you.
Look for this tag, Visa Fabric made in the USA by Milliken.
Caring for the USA.
Coming up on World News Tonight, we'll look at the controversy over organ transplants. Who decides who should get the limited number of available organs? In effect, deciding who will live and who will die. We will also have our regular Friday feature, The Person of the Week.
Now is the time to own your very own color TV. That's right, this weekend and this weekend only, National TV will be selling brand names for as low as $129. We're talking RCA, Zenith, and Sony, all major brands for as low as $129. These televisions have been serviced and are in A #1 condition. Bring your Visa, MasterCard, check, or cash to National TV this weekend and own your very own color TV.
Saturday and Sunday only from 10 to 5 at the Holiday Inn Airport.
What's new in old-fashioned family entertainment? Herbie's Car Museum. Cars and more cars dating all the way back to 1903. American and intriguing foreign models. All are collector's items and all are for sale. You'll also want to visit Herbie's antique and gift shops. Then enjoy Herbie's homemade regular and Italian ice creams or a selection from our delicious snack bar. Visit Herbie's for an entertaining and educational experience the family will long remember. Herbie's Car Museum, just off Rivers between Remount and Montague.
Well, in case you've forgotten, we want to remind you that, yes, it is Friday the 13th, and I certainly haven't forgotten. It's been a rotten day all the way so far.
You're right. For a lot of people, probably disastrous for some people, because again, you're right, it's definitely an unlucky day. Speaking of disasters, we also have a survival disaster kit coming up. Get your pencil, and I'll tell you exactly where you can get one from the Red Cross. But first, let's get to the conditions. And presently, it's still sunny, and probably a very beautiful sunset within the next 45 minutes. Airport temperature is 92, city 87, humidity at 44%, and the barometer is falling. Winds are southerly at 9. High temperature today was 95 degrees after a morning low of 76. Rainfall, none at all, and the next tide is a high one at 12:53, and that will be in the morning. Water temperatures, mild, 83 in the harbor, Gulfstream at 79, and Lake Moultrie at 81 degrees. Well, as far as all of our cloud cover goes, we saw a break. In fact, it looks like the only place in the eastern seaboard where the clouds didn't decide to gather today was in South Carolina. To the west, a break of clearing. What this is a nice, dry, big area of high pressure that'll fill in. In fact, a cold front came all the way through and maybe gave us some early morning showers right along the coast. But other than that, it was a beautiful day outside today. And you noticed it a little bit drier. Humidity levels were only about 42, 43% today versus 60% like we've had for daytime humidity factor levels. Well, the rainfall, as far as U.S. radar goes, notice The only rain is gathering right there in Florida, and they're having a lot of heavy-duty rain at that. Tomorrow, the scene for frontal systems go like this. Frontal system pushed on through the remainder of today. It'll break up. Now, we hope it doesn't come back up. As long as it doesn't, we're going to see a good bit of sunshine and also some drier conditions. So that means a good weekend. Later portion of the week, a frontal system will come down, but I'll tell you about that coming up on Monday. Heading into tonight, though, fair and warm, 72 for an overnight low. Not a bad night, and I really don't anticipate any thunderstorms either. And then getting into Saturday, Sunday, nice. Look at the afternoon highs, a little cooler than we've been through the last couple of days. And then real quick, tanning index, double nines. So all in all, looks like a real good weekend.
It's improved since yesterday.
You're right. And not only that, but we do have something coming up that I think is very important that I want to show everybody. The Red Cross is offering something that's called a Disaster Survival and Safety Pamphlet. And this is the address in which you can contact the Red Cross, send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to 144 Wentworth Street, Charleston, South Carolina 29401, or just stop by the Carolina Low Country chapter, and they'd be glad to give it to you. It's a kit that tells you about how to put together a 72-hour emergency kit and things to do throughout the Low Country in the event of a disaster, which would be flooding or hurricane or anything else.
Very much needed, and we'll try and bring you that address again before the end of our newscast. Yeah. All right, thanks, Lisa. Sure. Well, if you've ever had trouble with an appliance that you use a lot, this next Action Line report will hit a responsive chord. I think Ted knows what we're talking about.
Especially when you're in a hurry with company coming. It's exasperating, isn't it?
It sure is.
That's exactly what happened to a lady you're going to meet in a moment. You know, there's nothing more aggravating than being in a hurry and finding out at the last minute that an appliance doesn't work.
It was warranted for 1 year, and I had it so then for about 5-6 months when suddenly it just stopped working on me.
Marianne Jepson sent the Oster blender back 3 times.
After 2.5 months, and we missed it a lot, and I was looking forward, at the time I was pregnant, and I was looking forward to eventually making baby foods in there also.
She was sent a third one, single speed, she said, which smelled of burned rubber. This time, Oster said it was her fault for overloading it.
Watching Ted Knight on the TV, we decided, well, one more time, we'll give it a try.
Action Line contacted the Oster company, and would you believe, Marianne now has 2 blenders. And let me tell you something. They work, too.
I made a little surprise for you, my famous cheesecake cupcakes.
Cheesecake cupcakes.
They're to thank you and all of the people at Action Line. Eat your heart out, Dave Stanley.
Were you listening, Dave Stanley? You know, we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that for every bad experience with a product, there are thousands of satisfied customers. And the manufacturer should remember, too, how important it is to back up those warranties. If you need help, you can write to us. Action Line, Post Office Box 879, Charleston. The zip is 29402.
And those cheesecakes were,
they were great.
Wonderful. Marianne, I'm calling you for the recipe. All right, thanks, Ted.
Yes.
Well, 100 of the state's future law enforcement officers are gathered in Charleston this weekend. The South Carolina Law Enforcement's Police Explorers program is holding a statewide competition for police explorers. The event tests the cadets' skills along with giving them an on-the-scene look at every side of a police officer's job, from traffic problems to the firing range.
Just safety, getting the kids aware of what firearm safety is, how to use a weapon safely, and of course the competitions here also.
The competition will continue all weekend at the Citadel. And understand that the police are cracking down on some professional athletes tonight, more drug problems.
Can you believe it? It seems like they'll never learn the lesson. 2 more professional football players going to jail on drug charges. We'll have that when we come back to sports. Plus, things are finally back to normal tonight in pro golf. We'll tell you all about it next.
If you're in the market for an import, don't pay import prices. It's Chevy Spectrum. Japanese technology at a Chevy price as low as $75.68. That's $811 less than Nissan Sentra before import price increases. Lease Spectrum for about $144 a month or buy now at 6.9% and save $545 in interest alone. But hurry, GMAC's lowest interest rates ever end June 30th.
We've got something special.
Now at your Carolina Chevy dealers.
Chevrolet.
Trade in your outdated equipment at Steen Enterprises. Steen Enterprises, Charleston's only Case IH dealer, is open 6 days a week to handle all your farm, garden, and construction needs. Choose from a complete line of tractors, trucks, bulldozers, backhoes, and trailers. Then try before you buy on the 40-acre testing grounds. Billy Steen guarantees to beat all competition with 5% approved financing on selected Case IH quality tractors. Another satisfied customer at Steen Enterprises, 5 miles south of Ravenel on Highway 17.
Prices have been slashed at the J.P. Stevens Warehouse Closeout Sale. Save up to 70% on first quality, discontinued, and irregular name brand merchandise. Bath towels as low as $2. Beach towels starting at $7.50. Single sheets from $3. And matching sets from $10. Plus comforters, bed skirts, pillowcases, mattress pads, bath accessories, and much more. Don't miss the J.P. Stevens Warehouse Closeout Sale. 5640 Rivers Avenue, across from Gaslight Square.
I'm Carroll Campbell, and I'm running for governor. You know, I envision a South Carolina where people can live and work and raise their families in an environment that's clean and safe. A place where our elderly can walk the streets unafraid and our children can get a good education. A South Carolina where we have adequate health care for everyone. A place where jobs seek people instead of people hunting jobs. Join me, and together we can make it happen.
Campbell for governor.
Kansas City Chief Defensive End Mike Bell will soon be issued a new uniform, prison stripes. Bell and his twin brother Mark were convicted today in a Wichita, Kansas federal drug charge. Mike has played with the Chiefs since 1979. His brother Mark played tight end for the Colts and the Seahawks. Mike is facing 9 years in the pen. His brother could go away for as many as 5. Sentencing set for next month. The brothers contend they were trafficking in real estate, not dope, when those federal agents arrested them. Well, up until today, the U.S. Open was in danger of being charged with impersonating a professional golf tournament. Scores were so high yesterday, it seemed like the amateurs were playing the course. But today, things got back to normal. Or maybe we should say Norman. Watch Greg Norman here. He's on the 14th hole. You see how far he is away from the pin. And watch the great white shark work his great white miracle. Almost gets the ball in the cup, coming and going. Watch. Goes by it once, almost, and almost drops it back in again. Now, our leader from yesterday is Bob Tway. Here he is on 17, and who says those bunker shots are so hard? Well, he'll finally end up with a very good day right now. Greg Norman is -1 with a 68. You see the rest of the leaderboard, everybody else there with 68s, still a couple of guys out on the course. Also trying to score a big win this weekend is Bill Elliott on the NASCAR circuit. Elliott owns the last 2 titles of the Michigan 400, but unlike years past, this Michigan track has a brand new surface this time around. That fresh, untested asphalt can create enough heat friction to tear tires apart. The defending champ says that hazard makes this race resemble an entirely different sport.
That's what you just said, Russian roulette. It's going to be quite interesting what's going to happen. You know, Goodyear has no idea what the tires are going to do. You know, as far as competitors go, we don't have any idea what the tires are going to do. So, you know, the bad thing about it is somebody's going to unload and run well. You know, and I hope I'm that guy.
Well, Bill, we'll find out Sunday. Tonight, we're going to find out how things are going in the sports world with tennis. Here's Russ Inslee live from the City Tennis Center. Russ?
Okay, Gary, the big news in tennis today is that John McEnroe has formally announced that he will not be playing Wimbledon this year. That's not really shocking because most people didn't expect him to. He hasn't picked up a racket really since January. McEnroe, of course, still adjusting to fatherhood. His girlfriend Tatum O'Neal giving birth to a boy last month. A little closer to home here at the Charleston Tennis Center, we've got the City 25 and over championships going on. The men's finals, they're taking a break right now, but the men's finals are being played behind me between Ken Neese of Moncks Corner and Eric Forsberg, who won this event 3 years ago. Neese is leading in the first set of that match 4-3. Now in the women's finals, defending champ Tuzi Snyder, that's Tuzi, not Susie, but Tuzi Snyder, is taking on Mary Gasly, a former College of Charleston player, and Tuzi Snyder is gunning for her 3rd consecutive victory in this event. She's having to struggle for it, though, because Gasly won the first set of that match. So if you want to enjoy some good tennis action, come on out here tonight. The men's doubles get underway at 7 o'clock, the mixed doubles at 8:30. Gary?
All right, thanks a lot, Russ. Well, tennis, of course, is very popular in this area, but baseball is very much holding its own, and it's likely to keep that up as the American Legion teams play some great ball. In last night's game between Summerville and West Ashley, we saw a clinic on how to execute the perfect squeeze bunt play. Now, here comes Stevie Williams. Let me show this thing to you. It is absolutely a work of art. The bunt will be laid right down the first base line. Third base comes our scorer. There you go. And they don't make them any better than that. Those guys play some great baseball, and of course, Somerville won the game.
All right. Thanks, Gary. We'll be right back.
This week only buy the new 1987 Nissans at 86 closeout prices only at Northside Nissan's gigantic tent sale. Every new hardbody truck, every 87 Northside Nissan car priced this week at 86 closeout prices. Plus every remaining 86 Nissan car must be sold this week. No reasonable offer refused. Northside Nissan is overstocked for the biggest sale in our history. Under the tent, rain or shine. Open every night till midnight. Northside Nissan's gigantic tent sale this week only.
Unless Northside Nissan's on your car or truck, you probably paid too much.
If you're 60 or over,
like me,
the Silver Pages from Southwestern Bell Media helps you shop for savings.
at all these businesses.
Yeah, who gave her a script? The businesses that offer special values for seniors in this area.
And don't forget...
I know, the useful magazine and information section.
Now, let's tell them about...
The Silver Savers Passport card. It's your passport to savings.
Oh, that's telling them, Bob.
The Silver Pages can make you a Silver Saver, too, so shop it and save. Hi-ho, Silver.
Oh.
Classic Lincoln Mercury's having a grand opening sale. Everything is on sale, like this Sable GS for only $11,352. We've got a tremendous supply of them. They're equipped with the equipment you'd want most, and just $11,352. Sable GS, just $11,352 during the grand opening of Charleston's newest and finest auto dealership, Classic Lincoln Mercury. That's incredible! No, that's classic. Classic Lincoln Mercury.
You'll love our style, we're classic.
Coming up tonight on Eyewitness News at 11, violence continues under emergency measures in South Africa. The U.S. says there will be no new sanctions. How do our cities stand on sanctions? We'll tell you. A parade honoring veterans in Chicago is led by our own General William Westmoreland. We'll take you there. And on Action Line, a woman gets taken to the cleaners, literally, and Ted Knight has to come to the rescue. That's all tonight at 11. Lisa says it's going to be a great weekend. We'll see you back here tonight at 11. Good night.
Associated Press, the international news service, has named TV2 Eyewitness News South Carolina's best news. TV2 Eyewitness News, building a news tradition in the Lowcountry.
This is a WCBD-TV2 editorial.
All of us from time to time receive offers in the mail, and door-to-door salesmen knock at our doors, offering us the deals of a lifetime. Many of us are tired of being ripped off by door-to-door salesmen or finding local businesses that treat consumers unfairly. Most times, it's a simple misunderstanding. But other times, people like you and I need help. We need a place to turn. We at TV2 are keenly aware of this problem. Our Eyewitness News team, specifically our Action Line department, receives 60 calls a day and some 100 letters a week from consumers, many of whom have been ripped off. We help as much as possible, and we've gotten good results. But here in the Lowcountry, there is a missing link. There is an urgent need for a sort of clearinghouse, an agency through which you and I can go to ask questions about various companies offering the deals of a lifetime. We need a Better Business Bureau in the Lowcountry. A Better Business Bureau works with the local Chamber of Commerce, not against it. It benefits the business community as well as consumers by helping eliminate unfair and unethical business operations. We urge the business community and the Chamber of Commerce to work together toward that goal. We need a Better Business Bureau to help all of us.
This has been a WCBD-TV2 editorial. Responsible citizens wishing to express an opposing viewpoint should contact the WCBD-TV editorial staff.
Terminix